Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanasalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desatarini. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Kaura Bhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Krishna Janmashtami Maha Mahotsav ki chai. So today we're going to discuss about the Janmashtami festival, which is coming tomorrow and day after tomorrow. In all of the ISKCON center, in all over the world, this is one of the major festival we celebrate in a grand way, Janmashtami festival. So for this occasion, we are preparing our mood so that we can welcome Lord Krishna on this Janmashtami festival into our hearts. So I would be discussing few pastime and few lessons from this Janmashtami festival. Let's try to hear it and imbibe the mood so that we can welcome Lord Krishna into our life in a very nice way. So this is the month of Bhadra month and the Krishna Paksha is going on. On this Krishna Paksha, on the Ashtami, on the 8th day, Lord Krishna appears in this material world. Prior to Lord Krishna's appearance, Mother Devaki has already lost her 6 children. 6 children were brutally killed by the uncle Kamsa. And after the 6 children were killed, then Lord Balaram appears in the womb of Devaki. Already we discussed this past time in the last class that these 6 children are representation of the 6 anarthas: Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Madh, Ascharya. So the 7th child, Balaram, represents the Guru, spiritual master. So when the conditioned soul surrenders his life to the spiritual master, by his mercy, all these 6 anarthas that get destroyed. And when Balaram appeared to Mother Devaki, just see, just like when a minister comes, how the king comes, how the minister makes all arrangement. So prior Lord Krishna appears to Devaki's home, Balaram appears, and Balaramji makes all arrangement of, and he checks everything is all right or not. And then Lord Krishna appears on the Devaki's home on the 8th child. That's how the Lord Krishna appears. So why only Devaki and Vasudev? Why not others? So you have to understand that even Devaki and Vasudev, they were not ordinary people. It is mentioned in the Shastra that in their previous work, Devaki and Vasudev were Prishni and Sutapa, and they performed severe austerity. And Lord Krishna, being pleased with their austerity, Krishna appeared before them and he told them to ask for a boon. And they asked that we want you as our son. Krishna told, it's impossible. Nobody can equal to me. If you want son like me, then I have to only come. There is no other person equal to me. So then Krishna decided, okay, I'll come as your son. So Prishni and Sutava got a child known as Prishni Garva, Krishna only. And then in their next life, they become Aditi and Kashyapa. And again, they got a son who is known as Vamana Dev. The famous pastime he did, asked 3 steps from Bali Maharaj, and in these 3 steps he just took the whole universe, and that's how the devatas win over the danavas. And then in the third life they appear as Devaki and Vasudeva, and the supreme personality of God and Lord Krishna from the Goloka Vrindavan directly appeared from Devaki and Vasudeva. That's how Devaki and Vasudeva are so special. They're not some ordinary husband and wife. They are the eternal mother and father of Lord Krishna. So Krishna personally he tells in the Bhagavad Gita in the 4th chapter in the 9th verse that what is the importance of understanding the Lord's birth and activity. Krishna personally tells what Krishna is telling. Let's try to understand. In the 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, 9th verse. Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo veti tattvataha tvakta deha punarjanma naiti mameti sarjuna. Krishna is personally telling to Arjuna, oh my dear Arjuna, Janma karma chame divyam. Janma my birth, karma my activity, divya, they are transcendental. They are not ordinary things. Who is telling? Krishna himself is telling. My birth and my activities are beyond this material activity. It is beyond this material world. They are transcendental, beyond this material platform. Evam yo veti tattvata. The person who understands these things, tattvata, in truth, not just when sometimes you speak all this past and people say, oh, we know that Krishna born from Devaki, Vasudeva, and Mathura, Vrindavan, everything we know. That is mere theory only. Here Krishna is telling the person who understands these things in reality, tattvataha. Then what happened to that person? Tvekta deha punarjanma na iti mam iti sarjana. When that perfecta deha, when that person will leave his body, it's at the time of death. Na iti, janma na iti, again he will not take birth in this material world. Krishna is telling. Then what will happen? Where he will go? Mameti so Arjuna, oh my dear Arjuna, he will come to me. Krishna is telling here. Just imagine the living spirit spark, soul is passing through so many species, 84 lakh species, birth after birth after birth. Sometimes human, sometimes animal, sometimes tiger, donkey, cat, dog, snake, sometimes trees. So many millions of species, the soul is just wandering. That's how our Adi Sankaracharya tells na, Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani jathare sayana. The soul is born from a mother, again dies, again the soul goes to the womb of another mother and sleeps for 9 months. Again he comes out. Similarly, the soul is taking so many lives. But here Lord Krishna is telling interestingly that the person who understands my birth and my activities in truth, he will not continue this cycle. After death, he will go back to God. This is the importance of understanding Krishna's birth and his activity. Let's try to understand in brief. I will tell you in brief about Lord Krishna's birth and some few activities so that we can at least prepare our consciousness to imbibe the mood to welcome Lord Krishna on this Janmashtami Tithi. So Krishna, Sukadeva Goswami explains in Srimad Bhagavad Puran that how the birth of Lord Krishna takes place. It's not like an ordinary child who borns in a hospital in a delivery room, smeared with blood, mucus, and then the doctor takes the child and puts in antiseptic solution, and the child starts crying. It's not like that. It's totally beyond our imagination how Krishna takes his birth. Let's try to understand. Sukadeva Goswami is telling, when the right time comes, Krishna appears in the mind of Vasudeva. And from his mind, he goes to the heart of Vasudeva. And then from his heart, Krishna goes to the heart of Devaki. And from the heart of Devaki, Krishna goes to the womb of Devaki. And then from the womb, Krishna appears outside. It's not just the child born from the physical body. Krishna directly appears in front of Devaki. And it is described by Sukadeva Goswami when Krishna appeared. He was fully decorated with all the ornaments, earrings, cloth, and having a curly hair. Krishna was looking so beautiful. Devaki was surprised. My God, how come this child is so beautiful? And just imagine Krishna born with the ornament and he was so smiling. Otherwise, in general, when a child born, he cries. Otherwise, we think it's an abnormal child. So Krishna borns and gives a big smile to Devaki mother. And Devaki was totally surprised. My God, what kind of child this is? And then, in a few seconds, Krishna shows the four-handed Vishnu form to Devaki. Sangha, Chakra, Gada, Padma, the four paraphernalia of Vishnu. He exposes before Devaki, and Devaki was mesmerized to see the Lord Vishnu in front of him. And then, but what to do? Devaki is a mother. She has a parental affection towards Lord Krishna. So Devaki requested, "Oh my dear child, it will come in this huge form. Kamsa will see you and he will kill you. Please become a small child so that I can hide you somewhere and I can protect you." That is the love of a mother. Mother cannot see the opulence, the power, everything doesn't work with her mother. Mother is a mother. You always see you as a child. So when Devaki requested, then Krishna again he becomes a small baby child. But he is the God. Krishna immediately orders Vasudeva that please take me from here to Vrindavan. And Sukadeva Goswami explains that Vasudeva, when he got this instruction from Krishna, immediately he goes to pick Krishna. He was not at all thinking that he was bound with all the shackles, chains. But his mood, intention was to serve Krishna. The moment he started walking towards Krishna, all the chains, everything that become free. And this is the importance of having a desire to serve God. Sukadeva Goswami tells Vasudeva, which is Sauri. Sauri means a chivalrous person, a victorious person. How come Vasudeva is Sauri? He was inside a jail, shackled with so many chains. So how come he's a victorious person? Victorious in the sense he has the willpower to serve Krishna. When Krishna told to serve him, take him from Mathura to Vrindavan, immediately Vasudeva, without a second thought, he stood and he went to Krishna and picked Krishna. And because of his strong desire to serve Krishna, Krishna helped Vasudeva to go to Vrindavan. All the chains that got released, all the gates of the jail that opened, and Vasudeva directly went to Vrindavan and kept Krishna near Yashoda Mata and took the baby girl born from Yashoda and brought her to jail. That time Kamsa, the uncle, he saw that a baby girl was born and was a little surprised because the Akasvani that told that a boy is going to born and he is going to kill, but here is a baby girl. But still, just imagine the demonic mentality. Krishna comes a thought that I don't know, whatever it may be, let me kill that. Why do give a chance, give a clue, give a small chance also. So Kamsa went to kill this baby. And that time Devaki was pleading to Kamsa, my dear brother, don't kill. This is a small baby girl only. And you just spare this baby girl. I'll give her to your son as a bride. Please don't kill. But all the requests of Devaki's were in vain. Kamsa didn't listen. And brutally, with a merciless heart, Kamsa picked this baby girl and thrashed on the stone. But when Kamsa threw this baby girl to the stone that time, this baby girl slipped from the hand of Kamsa and she went to the sky and she appeared as a Durga with 8 arms. Kamsa was totally surprised to see this girl as a Durga. And then this girl tells, oh, fool Kamsa, the person who is going to kill you has already taken his birth somewhere else. Why you are torturing your sister and her husband like this? And then the Durga disappears. Kamsa become very fearful because Kamsa used to worship Durga. And then comes a thought, my God, my sister is giving birth to Durga. Immediately comes a religious Devaki and Vasudeva and comes to ask for sorry. This is how Lord bonds from his parent Devaki and Vasudeva. So this is how we can understand that the birth of Lord Krishna is not an ordinary thing. It's a transcendental, it's an extraordinary thing. Just like any avatar of Lord, if you see their birth, if you see something different, transcendental. Just take the example of Narasimhadev. Narasimhadev bonds from a pillar, from a stone pillar he bonds. The father and mother is the stone pillar. And Varahadev born from the nostril of Brahmaji, and then he become a huge form. So this is what the birth of Lord Krishna. It's not a material activity, it's a transcendental activity. Janma karma chame divya. Similarly, the activities karma also very transcendental. Let's try to understand how it is. When Krishna born, immediately in a day, Krishna kills the Putana Rakshasi through his mouth by drinking milk. Krishna drinks the pranavayu also. That is the activity of Krishna. Who can kill a mere baby? Can kill a huge, gigantic Rakshasi? Not possible at all. But Krishna did it. When Krishna was small baby, Krishna was stealing makhan from the neighbor houses. And just imagine if some person steals something, then it's a very bad thing, right? Generally, the police takes that person to the jail. But when Krishna steals something, Krishna is famous for the name called Makhan Chor, and people worship him. People does Bhagavad Katha on this pastime. That is the glory of Krishna's stealing pastime. Makhan Chor Leela. Krishna killed so many demons without using a single weapon. Killed somebody by sucking milk, killed somebody by kicking with leg, killed somebody by choking his throat, killed somebody by throwing with the tails, killed somebody by putting his hand in his mouth, killed somebody by tossing his horns and thrashing him in the ground like a cloud. This is the wonderful activity Krishna does. Such a big, Herculean, gigantic, threatening demons, they were killed like a toy in the hand of Krishna. This is the transcendental activities Lord Krishna does in Vrindavan. When Krishna was 7 years old, Krishna lifted the Govardhan Parvat for 7 days and 7 nights. In the left hand with the little finger, just to show that Indra, you are trying so much to give trouble to the Vrajavasis. But just see before your trouble, so much you are trying. It is just my left hand work. ये मेरा बाएं हाथ का खेल. And then after Govardhan Leela, Krishna does the Ras Leela, dances with all the cowherd girls. Sometimes people create objection. How come Krishna dances with so many girls? Eh? Baba, Krishna can do anything. Before Krishna dancing with the girls, Krishna lifted this Govardhan Parvat for 7 days and 7 nights. I always tell, okay, you lift some small mobile for one day, then you can dance with all the gopis. Baba, he's a god. He can do anything. We can't compare ourselves with the gods, and we cannot judge God's activity with this mundane law. He is in a transcendental realm that is beyond this material world. And the speciality of the Ras Leela is that when Krishna was dancing with all the gopis, Krishna expanded himself as many as gopis were there. Krishna expanded. There were lakhs of gopi, and Krishna expanded. And Krishna was dancing with each and every gopi simultaneously at one time place. And all the gopis were thinking, I'm so special. Krishna is with me. My God, that is the charisma of Krishna. That is the transcendental activity of Lord Krishna. Krishna is called Rasa Vihari because he was dancing with all the gopis. And Krishna, when he was fighting with our Jarasandha, for the 17th time Krishna defeated Jarasandha, but he didn't kill Jarasandha because he knew that if I will not kill Jarasandha, then again Jarasandha will bring his all Rakshasi army. Because one of the purpose of Krishna's birth is Paritranaya Sadhuna Vinasaya Duskruta. And Krishna knew very well that this Jarasandha is the recruitment agency of the Duskruta. If I leave, then again he will collect all the Rakshasas from all over the world, and again he will bring to me, and easily I can kill all of the Rakshas at one place. That's how Krishna always used to leave Jarasandha. But on the 18th fight, Krishna has to flee from the war. And then Krishna famous for Ranchodrai. No warrior is supposed to flee from the war, right? But Krishna, he had to flee. Why? There's a reason for that. Because that is the time when Rukmani was about to marry with Shishupal, and Rukmani wrote a letter to Krishna mentioning that, my dear Lord, if you will not come now, then I will quit my life. I don't want to marry anybody except you, my dear Lord. I have given my heart and soul, everything to you. And when Krishna read that letter, immediately Krishna left that war and he went to marry Rukmani. Just imagine, Krishna was not bothering about his fame and prestige. What the future will tell, that the Krishna ran from the war out of fear of Jarasandha. Krishna thought that whatever the people may say about me, it's okay, I will tolerate. But I can't let my devotees. That is how Krishna is known as Bhakta Vatsala. Just to protect one devotee, Krishna is ready to get the blame of the whole society as a Ranchod Rai. But in contrast, what happened? People worship Krishna as a Ranchod Rai in Gujarat. Raja came cho, Ranchod Rai cho. That's how the Krishna's activity are transcendental, and it is beyond this material mundane platform. So this sloka explains the person who understands this Janma Karma Chame Divyam, Kakta Deha Punarjanmana Chimame. When he will leave his body, again he will not take his body. So many examples we can take from Srimad Bhagavatam. Let's take the example of Narada. Narada was a small boy, but in that life, when he met with that Bhakti Vedantist, and he practices this Bhakti Yoga of chanting and hearing, and when he quits his life, next life he gets the life of a spiritual body, Narada Muni. Narada Muni Vajaye Bina Radhika Ramayana. Just see the magic of Bhakti Yoga. In the canto 4, the pastime of Dhruva Maharaj comes. Dhruva Maharaj in the 6th month he practices Bhakti Yoga and he sees Lord Vishnu face to face. And when the last time, one time of death, when the Vaikuntha Viman comes to receive Dhruva Maharaj was about to board the Vaikuntha Viman. That time the death personified comes and he offers his pranam to Dhruva Maharaj and tells, "Oh my dear king, please give me a chance to serve you. Please place your step on my head and go into the Vaikuntha." This is how understanding the Lord's birth and activity makes our life difference. And Dhruva Maharaj goes to Vaikuntha. I remember one of the disciples of Prabhupada, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, whose birthday is the next day of Janmashtami on 20th August. He's one of the disciples who was leaving his body in the hospital. And at the last moment, all the devotees were surrounding him and they were doing chanting, kirtan, everything. Last moment, when he was about to leave his body, that time, he shows this thumbs up to all the devotees and he tells one sentence that this process works. Oh, the devotee were mesmerized to see that. That means what? He is seeing Prabhupada, he is seeing the Vaikuntha Viman, the Vishnu Dutas, they were taking him. And he is giving a thumbs up that this process works. What Prabhupada is giving the 16th round of chanting Hare Krishna mantra, 4 regulative principle ruling Gita, Bhagavad. When a person does throughout the life, he is telling this process is working. Because I am seeing in front of my eye that the Vaikuntha Viman has come to take me. So let's prepare our consciousness in this Janmashtami. Prabhupada has given everything, this process of Sravanam Kirtanam. Let's chant our Hare Krishna Maha Mantra round very sincerely. Let's follow the 4 regulative principles. Let's read this Gita Bhagavatam, take the shelter of these books very nicely and prepare our consciousness to appear Lord Krishna in our heart. In the heart, let Lord Krishna appear on this Janmashtami. And by preparing our consciousness very nicely and making Krishna appear in our heart, this makes the human life success. So it's my humble request to all of you, practice this Krishna consciousness very nicely. On this day, 18th August is the Smarta Tithi, 19th August is the Vaishnava Tithi of Janmashtami. In all of the ISKCON center and all over the world, 19th August we are celebrating Janmashtami. Especially the procedure of celebrating Janmashtami is that on this day, maximize your hearing and chanting, maximize your Krishna consciousness activity, and if possible, you can fast this on this day by from the water also. You can do Nirjala fasting, and if it is not possible, then you can do with the Sajala, with the water fasting. If that is not possible, then you can take some fruits. If that is also not possible, then at least take the Ekadasi Prasad, Sabudana Varai, like that kind of thing. And fast till midnight. And in the midnight, if there is some, you can do a nice arti to Lord Krishna, you can have a prasad. Like that. And if possible, if you have a Gopal Vigra or a Radha Krishna Vigra, you can also do Abhishek of Lord Krishna on this day with the milk, curd, honey, sugar water, and with the warm water. In this way, you can do a nice Abhishek, put a nice garment to Lord, and then have a final Aarti on the third. In this way, you can celebrate Janmashtami. The most important, if you are staying near any ISKCON temple, then I would suggest better go to the ISKCON temple and participate in the Janmashtami and shower yourself with the Krishna conscious blessings of all the Vaishnava devotees on this festival. Like that, I pray to Lord Krishna that he gives ours his blessing to all the devotees of Lord Krishna, and all can, with full consciousness, Krishna consciousness, can welcome Lord Krishna on this day to their heart and serve Lord Krishna with the fullest of dedication. That's it. जय जन्माष्टमी महामहोत्सव की जय। वंशा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव पतितानां पावनेभ्यो जय।